Good morning, Facebook Live, and wherever else you might be in this world, wherever else this video goes, and I hope that it goes in many places, because I got some stuff to get off my chest. So it's the day after Father's Day. Hopefully you all had a wonderful Father's Day. We did. We took the time to celebrate the father of my children. I hope that you celebrated the father of the children in your life, or I hope you celebrated your dad, or your sons, or your uncles, or whatever, whoever has been a father to you, especially in the Black community. We need to celebrate our fathers. If you didn't do that, I hope you did that. But it don't have to be on that day. If you missed out on really celebrating a father in your life, however that comes, take the time to do that today. The state of the current state that we're in now, it's very clear that the world don't give a fuck about our Black men. We know that, right? And it's not even new, but it's just becoming super, super obvious. So if you did not take the time to celebrate the fathers in your life, celebrate the fathers in your life. We really did that yesterday. Those of you who know my husband know that he is special. He's special to me, and he's special on his own, right? He is a whole lot of things. And one of the things that he is a fabulous father. I always tell people that he's almost like the James Evans. If there ever was a James Evans, hey, Miss Skeeja, how you doing? If there ever was a James Evans, VBTouray is James Evans up in this piece. But that's not really what I came to talk to you about. I just want to make sure that you all celebrate the Black men in your life, because they deserve that. They do. They deserve celebration, not lynching, right? But I wanted to talk about the fact that I did a video a few days ago, and it was just about some ideas or some feelings I had about the Black community and moving us forward. And I got a lot of response. People call me on the phone. I got a lot of personal messages, and which let me know that, again, that the fruit is ripe for picking, that people are ready. The landscape is changing. The weather is changing, and people are ready to make a change and make a difference, right, in their lives. But one of the conversations I had, somebody said, well, what are the issues? We need to discuss what the issues, the real issues, the kernels of the issues are in our community, so that we can move it forward. And I got to thinking about that. And one of the things that stood out for me, I want to talk with you all about today, is the fact that materialism is a monster in our community. Hello, Miss Michelle Phillips. Materialism is a monster in our community, and we have to kill it. Right? It's almost like I remember watching those movies, and they say, I think it was the Dracula, I can't quite get it right now. Again, I'm getting a little older, but we got to kill it at the heart, right? Put a stake in the heart of materialism, because one of the reasons that we cannot move forward as a community in solidarity is because we don't have the finances to do so. Not because we don't bring in finances to do so, but we never have, or oftentimes in our community, we don't have cash flow, because we spend every dime we have on bullshit, right? So I got to thinking about one of the major issues and reason we cannot move forward is simply because materialism has galvanized our community, right? We want to spend money on new cars. We want to have the finest house. We want to have, like I talked about the other day, we want to spend $300 and $400 on a pair of tennis shoes. And if you look at the crux of it, I think the reason that we do that as Black people in this country, I can't talk about nobody else, but I'm talking about those of us or many of us are descendants of slaves, right? Some people don't believe that. I do believe it. I don't believe that's the case for every Black person in this community, in our country, but for many of us, I believe that we're descendants of slaves, right? And I think because of that, we come from generations and generations of not being able to have what we want, because people have taken those things from us and held them from us. And it's human nature to want what you don't have. So since we want what we don't have, or since you want what you can't get your hands on, we're not coming down some generations now where you can afford some things. Well, we work like dogs to get it, but we can afford some things, right? So because we have the opportunity to buy things now, then we spend ridiculous money on shit that will not serve us in terms of generational wealth. I think that's why we do it. Hello to everybody that's coming in. Corey Howe, good morning. Michael Butler, good morning. I think that's why we do that. Why we spend $400 and $500 on a pair of t-shirts, because ultimately, I think what it is most of us are tying our self-esteem into materialism, and that is the fucking problem. Your worthiness of living and being cannot be tied to nothing that's material. It cannot be. But many of us, that's what our stuff is tied on. So we going by knowing, like, and we've seen this for a long time. You know, people who are living in their mama's basement, but they got a Range Rover in the driveway. You don't have a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out, but you driving a Range Rover. And that's because we tie our self-worth into materialism. And that's why you don't have no cash flow, so that you can actually do something that will build generational wealth. And wealth is not always about money. That's a whole nother situation. I mean, a whole nother conversation. Wealth ain't always about money. Good morning, everyone who's coming in. But so we have to get to a place where we understand that my self-worth is not tied to the kind of car I drive. If you see me in a bucket, know that I got some money in my pocket. That's the other thing. Because we tie self-worth into materialism, then we want you to think, I got on $400 shoes. My coat costs $2,000. I'm driving a car I cannot afford. I'm living in a house I cannot afford. Or you come in my house and I got so much shit up in there because I'm trying to impress people. That you impressing people is not going to help build generational wealth for you and your family. Why do you need to have the finest car? Why you need to have the finest house? Because you're trying to prove something when you don't need to prove shit to nobody. What you need to do is be able to build generational wealth, which is more than money, for your family, for generations to come. This country is built on consumerism. Consuming. What can I buy? What can I buy? What can I eat? What can I get? What can I get? What can I? We have been programmed. We got to change our programming. Materialism is the monster, and we have to kill it if we're going to move forward. Y'all, I see y'all coming in. Good morning, Miss Edith, and the rest of you. It's moving kind of fast. Tamara Powell, good morning to all of you. Rhonda Smith, good morning. Please share this with somebody. And I'm saying this, and I know, even if I did, I don't want you to think this is all about getting Facebook likes. I'm trying to change the mindset, and I want you all to help me. I want us to get together and change the mindset of our community so that we can build, we can grow, right? But even if it was for Facebook likes, let's just say it was. If it was for Facebook, share the video and help me. That's another issue. We can't help nobody. If you see something you like it and share it. That's how social media, that's how it works, right? If you want to help me, like the video and share it to somebody who might need the information. The information today, the word today is materialism is a monster, and we have to kill it together. We got to come together and kill it by changing our mindset, by no longer believing and thinking that our self-worth is tied to materialism, because it is not. It is not. But we've been taught that. And don't forget, it's the okie doke, right? Here's the big picture. The big picture is America feeds us this idea that the more stuff that you have, the more high price your stuff is. The more name brand your stuff is, the more you are. They feed us this, right? But when I say they, I'm talking about the owners of these companies and media outlets who are beneficiaries of the money that's made off of this stuff. That's what we don't always get. That's the message I want people to get if you don't already know. And if you do know, share it so somebody else will know. Thank you, Miss Edith, for sharing that. I just saw that. Thank you very much. We have been fed the idea, and you're doing it every day. You get it on the TV, you get it on the internet, you get it from your radio. Everything is buy. And our belief has become, because that's by design too. Our belief has become, the more you have, the more money you have on your body, the more people can look and see or try to assess how much you wearing on your body or in your car, then the more worthy you are of life, or the more worthy you are of our attention, or the more worthy you are of our praise. My self-worth ain't tied to shit, and yours shouldn't be either. what we should be. And if we don't do it, if we don't tie our self-worth to junk, then we can build generational wealth for our children. Meaning we can build stuff that lasts. They can have some of the homes that we may want to live in. They can have some of the cars we want. And we can too. If we do things accordingly in a timely manner and in fashion. So let me go back to what I originally said. Materialism. Thank you, Michelle Phillips, for sharing. I saw that. Thank you very much. Materialism is the monster that we have to kill as a community if we're going to move forward. Because if we have cash flow, then we can make some real money moves, not fake money moves. Because we like to look like what we don't have. We like to front. We are my people. That's what we the king and queens of fronting. Like you got shit that you don't have. Because people that really got money, you don't see it oftentimes. Not on their body, not necessarily. You don't necessarily see it in it. Some of the richest, the wealthiest people that and I'm talking about finances now. Some of the wealthiest people, they're not driving Range Rovers. You know why? Because they don't need to prove shit to you. That's why. Their bank account is saying something different. And that's where we have to move as a community. Good morning, everybody. I see people coming in. Brother Tory Smith, good morning. Sister Reba, good morning. You all like this and share this video. Listen, if you're interested in, again, if you saw the video I did a few days ago, you know where I'm going with this. But my mind is on right now how we can strategize to move our community forward. It is a perfect time for this. My mindset is there. I remember my husband told me, my mother passed, right? And I didn't know that my husband and my mother had this conversation. But I'm telling you something about me. I didn't know they had this conversation. But my husband said to me, he said, my mother-in-law told me in a private conversation, he said, if Vicky tell you, I'm thinking about so-and-so. She said, if Vicky tell you I'm thinking about so-and-so, it's done. If she say to you, I'm thinking about so-and-so, believe me, it's already done. It's just a matter of her figuring out in her mind how in the world to make it work. But it's pretty much done. I'm giving you that before you marry her, so you know that. And I'm telling you people, when he told me that, so I know my mama told you that. Because she told me that. She said, once you get your mind set on something. So I'm telling y'all that what my mind is set on, right now is moving my community forward and strategizing to do so. If you have the same mindset, just comment and say, count me in. Because I'm talking to some people about putting together a group or organization where we can actually, sit down and hold each other accountable, to give each other information and say, hey, if we do this, this is going to happen. If we do that, that is going to happen. If we work on this, this is going to happen. But nothing is going to happen without organization. We got to organize and come together. Because people, I know you've heard strength is in numbers. Strength comes in numbers. You can't do it by yourself. But it is a time that we can move our community forward if we step in the pot and commit to doing something different. A lot of times we don't do different because we don't know no different. It's one thing to talk about something. It's another thing to be about it, right? It's another thing, though, if you have somebody to hold your hand, to say to you, okay, that didn't work, did it? Okay, let me help you with this. So, we messed up here, but we can do this. I am talking about, like I said, building generational worth. I'm talking about investing in some stuff. As a group, I'm talking about as a group, putting our money and our heads and our ideas and abilities together so that 5 years, 10 years from now, our lifestyles look different than they look right now. So I had a conversation with somebody this morning about how she wants to build her business, but she's working a job, right? And she said, I really want to do what I'm doing, but she working this job. But the job bring in the money. And I said to her, listen, I'm telling you from personal experience, because I did it. I dropped my job, my profession of teaching for 20 years plus, and put it aside and said, because I realized this: if I don't put my effort into what God feel like God is giving me for this time, then I ain't gonna be able to make the switch, because we are in a pattern. It's like a holding pattern that America puts us in, where we're on like a rat on a wheel, just running. You see the cheese and you trying to get it. You just run. The whole while they moving the cheese from you. Because they want you running. Because as long as we're running and paying and consuming, they're getting richer and richer and richer. We're running to a job every day, and you know what they're doing? On their jobs, chilling like. But they can do that because they are the owners of these companies and these media outlets that we are consuming. So we gotta change. But if you don't know, you can't do better. So we have to come together and educate each other. Good morning, Teresa and CJ and Dominique and all of y'all. Good morning. I'm glad to see y'all. Like and share this video, please, y'all. For anybody who may be interested in coming together to make some real money moves. I'm talking about for real. People who are interested in changing your lifestyle, a paradigm shift. And I'm talking about the black community. That's all I'm talking about. That's all I'm talking about. Because nobody needs to come together like the black community need to come together. Nobody else needs to. Why is it that, y'all ponder this. Why is it that in the black community, first of all, y'all know we don't own no businesses hardly. You know, we just getting there. We're getting there. But why is it that you cannot go into one Asian community and find a soul food restaurant? Y'all ever thought about that? You can't go into one European neighborhood. I'm talking about suburbs mostly because that's where they are. Because if they come into the city for what we are, for what they want, everything, everything's out there. But if you go to the suburbs where these tight spots where they don't want us at, how come you can't never go there and find a soul food restaurant? You ever thought about that? How come you cannot go to the white community and find? I'm just going to talk about some things that we do good. We do good. How come you can't go? Brothers can detail some cars, and in the black community we have those car detailing places, right? How come you can't go in the white community and there's a black detailing shop that's ran and owned by black people? How come that? You ever thought about that? But how come we cannot go into? I'm really about to blow your mind now. How come we can't go to Dearborn, Michigan? How come you can't go to Dearborn and find a soul food spot? You ever thought about that? Now they're coming to our community for whatever they want. And they all in business all around our community. Everybody knows that you're going to go to the Chaldeans or the Arabs for liquor. You're going to go to the Chaldeans or Arabs for your gas. Everybody know that in the black community. You know that you want Chinese food. It's right here in the black community. Right? Good morning to everybody. Good morning. If I miss you, I apologize. I'm so heated right now. But they're all selling to us because they know that we consume. But let me tell you something. If you consuming and you ain't producing, you ain't even worth being in the conversation. You're not even worth being in the conversation at the table because all you are is a consumer. You consume, but you don't produce shit. And that's what we are. We have been where we have been. We consume, but we don't produce. I remember one time I was in meditation. And I believe God gave me this revelation right here. He gave it to me like an example of international trade. And this is what I got. Every country, I'm not going to go into a bunch of them, but every country is known for producing something. And that's what makes them who they are. You can even go into saying states. They produce something, and that's what makes them who they are. So, like, for instance, let's just start at home. Everybody knows that Detroit is a motor city. Because what does Detroit produce? Cars. Everybody know that. Well, things are changing now, but that's what they're known for, their production. Do anybody know what Detroit buy? No. Detroit is known for production of cars. They're known for production of potato chips, right? We're known for production of Vernors and Sanders. If you talk about, I'm gonna just take one more state. If you talk about, I'm drawing a blank now. Somebody help me. Y'all sitting out there. Give me another state. Another state. Every state you go, they're known for producing something. That's how they survive. Production, not consumption. They survive by production. But African Americans have been taught and have brought into consuming, but we don't produce anything. But you can only survive, you can only survive long term on production, not consumption. If all you do is consume and you don't produce, all you're going to do is get fat and sick. But if you produce something, that's different. It's almost like I heard it from a Bob Marley song. I don't know where it originated, but I heard Bob Marley say, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever. It's kind of the same idea. I see Miss Keija. Miss Keija said, Miss Keija, I'm going to have to take out my glasses for this because my eyes are getting old. We need to be more intentional about our dollars. Absolutely. Fago. Miss Keija said Fago. Detroit is known for Fago. But here's a word that I got. If you're only a consumer, let's just say two generations from now, it'll be as if you never existed if your children don't say your name. Think about that. If your children and your children's children and your children's children don't say your name, in one generation, you'll be null and void, as if you weren't out here because you didn't produce shit. But if you are a producer, listen to me now. If you are, that's why we still talk about Ford, because he's relevant because of his production. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why he's relevant. You know how long that man been dead? But he's relevant because he produces something that people want, that people need. We have got to move over from materialism to production, right? From consuming to production, We can do that together if we come together and work together to do that. If you're interested in being involved with an organization, because I'm talking to some people about putting something together. Some of you got talk to about that. We got to come together and start moving fast. We got to strike the iron while it's hot, right? And if we got to strike the iron while it's hot. If you're interested, just say count me in. Just text me and say count me in. If you're watching this video and you know people that need to hear this, materialism is the monster that we need to kill. Share the video. Help me by sharing the video. Those of us who use social media to get that's another thing we have to do as a community. Those of us who have a good word, because it's a whole bunch of bullshit on internet. I have to tell y'all that. It's a whole bunch of stuff that ain't about nothing. That's time wasting. That's energy dragging. That ain't gonna help you in no way, shape, form, or fashion. But we spend a lot of time on that, and we'll share that shit. Stuff that don't help us at all. We gonna share that. Please share the video to somebody else who needs the information that you and I are going to create together, are going to excavate together. Miss Dooley said, two things come to mind. The thought never occurred for us to locate, to place one there. Oh, yeah, that's true. And there is no demand for the products. Solution-wise, we must be a producer of these things that we need to. Absolutely. We got to produce. We have to be producers. If you're interested in joining the group, and I don't care if it's Pontiac, I don't care if you're in Oklahoma, it doesn't matter, because black folks got to get together all over the world. And truly, whatever we create, whatever we come up with, we can have chapters everywhere, honestly. And if we have chapters everywhere and all of us work together, y'all, the time is right. But we have to we got to help change the mindset from consumers to producers. We're no longer consumers unless it serves our community. That's where we need to be. I'm not consuming unless it serves my community. And I'm producing to serve my community. How about that? Now, I know some things, we can't buy black because they don't have it yet. It doesn't exist yet. But if we get together and start moving, it can. Because we need to be, somebody said, Miss Keija said, intentional about our dollars. Miss Darlene, hello. She said, I love the black dollars, black power. Absolutely. Count me in. Thank you. If you're interested in being involved, say count me in. Just text count me in. Because when I start pulling y'all together, which will be this week or next week, we're going to start probably on Zoom meets or something like that. Then, y'all who don't want to be counted in, don't be trying to be down with us when you see us riding. No, we're gonna love on you anyway, because that's what we need to do. We need to come together. Black dollars equal black power. Absolutely. Black dollars equal. But we have to be able to. This is what I really want to make sure that you all get. We have to. If you understand that we have to move from consumers to producers, that materialism is the monster that we have to kill. If you understand that, it is your duty It's your duty to figure out a way to explain it to somebody else. I'm about to cry up in this piece. You cannot be the only one with the information, and you thriving and learning and moving and growing, but you don't share it with nobody else. You can't be the only one with the information. If you understand that we got to move from consumerism to producing, from consumers to producers, share the video with somebody, bring somebody in on a conversation, say count me in, so that you can get in the trenches with us and make a difference for our community. I said to my husband, I think about maybe about a month ago, we were talking about advancing in the black community, and I said to him, I said, sometimes I get fearful, because I feel like, wow. Sometimes I get fearful because I feel like I may not experience us really becoming in my lifetime, right? That was about a month ago. And he said, me too. I do too. I get fearful and just get jittery, thinking, damn, I'm not gonna see it. I ain't gonna be able to see it, you know? But the stuff that came behind Brother Floyd and others who have been murdered in the street, the stuff that it brought around a fire from other people, which makes me hopeful again. It makes me feel hopeful that, sorry y'all, let me drink some coffee, maybe that'll help. Woo, Lord. It makes me feel hopeful that I will see our people in their glory, right? In their glory. But again, one of the main tenets you have got to share with people. If you can't explain it, share this video. Let me explain it. We can never get ahead if we never have any cash flow for real purchases that are going to bring about generational wealth. For instance, let me just tell you something I saw on YouTube. Y'all already know that I'm African by design. My husband is African, and we all are African by design. But my point is, I've been African for a long time. But I want to say this. I saw a video just yesterday, a brother in Uganda, African-American brother. I'll share it if I can find it again. African-American brother been in Uganda, I think, for 6 years. And he said, this simple plan, and this is the kind of stuff that I want to deal with in its organization. He had a simple plan. He said, in Uganda, you can buy a lot of land or lease a lot of land, he said, for, I think he said 1 year, for, I think he said $1,000. He said, if you lease that lot of land for $1,000, you lease the land for agriculture. You find out, he said, I'm telling you, we can tell you what the hottest crops are. And at that time, I think he said it was pawpaw or papaya. He said, so papaya is high here. I mean, it's hot here. You get one lot for $1,000. You get the papaya. You harvest papaya, and I think he said 3 times a year. He said, so just for one lease, you can harvest 3 times a year. He said, you can either sell to the growers, or you can have the farmers come in and pick themselves, and then they pay you to pick and they sell. We're talking about investments right now. He said, so let's just say you did that. He said, if you do that for $1,000 with 3 crops, he said, oh, you make your money back 4 or 5 times. He said, then what do you do with that extra money? He said, you could get to take the money and run. He said, or you could flip it, reinvest. He said, maybe this time, after this year's over, maybe get 2 lots. You lease 2 lots of land. So now you're talking about $2,000 for 2 lots of land. Now you're talking about 6 crops. Right? 6 crops. He said, so more money, right? He said, you can take the money and run. He said, or you can get a 3rd plot the 3rd year, or you can just buy some land outright and then do that your thing. That's just one example. But my point of it is, in terms of investment, our little bit of money goes a long way in Africa. Now, my thing is Gambia. That's where we go. But I just mentioned something about Uganda, because there's lots of opportunities in many places. If we were to come together and do something as simple as that, now you have some investment that can potentially build money for your children, your children's children, because this can become a way of life. You don't have to live in Africa to make money in Africa. It's a whole bunch of folk that don't live in the United States. No, they live in somewhere else, living large and making money off us consuming the shit that they creating, but they liming while we're doing it. You can You can do the same thing. You can make money in Africa and at the same time help put your brothers and sisters to work, because they need to work in Africa, because their money don't go, it ain't as long as yours. Your American dollar goes a long way in third world countries. Hello, Miss Conley and the rest of you. Good morning. Good morning. That's right. Materialism is the monster, and we have to kill it. Period. There's so many ways for us to come together and build wealth together, and you can do it what you have. If you have some, if you ain't buying every damn thing for no reason, if you ain't wearing your assets on your ass, if you don't wear your assets on your ass, you'll have some cash flow when people come together and say, let's go into it, let's invest together. Let's make wealth for our children and our children's children. Let's create a better retirement for ourselves. And if you 30 and under, let's create a better life for myself when I'm 40 and 50, because things take time. But if you got a whole bunch of people working on the same thing, which is what every other community has figured out, y'all, we can get this done. We can get it done. If you're interested in doing something like this, just text count me in. Text count me in. Just text Lyman. Miss Keisha said Lyman. I know, Miss Keisha, I got that from Trinidad. When I was in Trinidad, they kept telling, we were hanging out one day we can go somewhere. And I said, what we gonna do? They said, oh, we just gonna be Lyman. I said, Lyman. I like Lyman. So yeah, I got that from my Trinidadian brothers and sisters. Trinidad, there are other places we can go, right? And other things that we can do, but we have to do it together. Share this with somebody, y'all. Like it and share it so that we can come together. If you're interested in being involved, I don't care where you're located. If you black, if you're from the diaspora or diaspora, depending on how you say it, just text and say, count me in. Count me in. We can start with a Zoom meeting. We can start with a Zoom meeting, which everybody can be involved in, but we got to come together, y'all. It's the time is right. While people are feeling proud and feeling indignant, and people are feeling what they should be feeling, it's time to come together now. Materialism is the monster. We got to come together and kill it. We have to come together and kill it. You understand what I'm saying? Like the video, share it with somebody who may be interested. And when you get this video, whoever you are, if it's 5, 6, 7, 8 days from now, if you're interested in meeting with us, joining with us, just text, count me in. Count me in. Whew, Miss Keisha said, let's go. That's what I'm saying. Let's go. Let's go. I'm tired of sitting in the same place watching everybody else prosper but us. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them prospering off of us. I'm sick of everybody snatching resources from black people, whether it's your labor or your gifts and your talents or our natural resources. When you talk about Africa, the motherland, our resources, and if you talk about some of our Caribbean countries, our resources, every community has prospered off the back of the being of the existence of black people, except black people. And we don't prosper off of nobody. We don't prosper off of nobody. That's a problem. And it's got to come to a halt. A halt. And we got to let people stop letting people prosper off of us. If you can stop it, stop it. And we're not going to stop it unless we come together and organize. If we come together and organize, we will stop everybody else from prospering off of us, off of the talents, the gifts, the abilities, the resources that God gave to me and you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Share the video. Share the video, y'all. Even if you think, if it come to your mind, because we've been programmed to distance each other and to not work together. Even if it comes to your mind, I ain't sharing her video. Share it anyway. Even if you think you're helping me, share it anyway. Share it anyway. Because we cannot do anything unless we don't come together. We can't do nothing if we don't work together. Everybody's figured it out but me. So let's work together. If you're interested in coming together to build something together, just type in, count me in. I'm going to contact you before this week is over. Just text, count me in. And I don't care if that's another thing. I don't care if you 14 or 104. because everybody got something to bring to the table. That's one thing about black people. God has gifted us in so many ways. So many ways. So many ways. And you can help wherever you are. And when we get together and start moving some of this, then we're going to pull in our 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. Because they need to be involved in it too. Right? When I say building generational wealth, I'm not talking about, let me say this real quick and I'm going to go. I was about to go a minute ago, but this came to me. When I talk about building, when I'm saying building generational wealth, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about making the way, paving the way and making it easy for your children to come up behind you and fuck up everything you created. I ain't talking about that, because that's another problem that that is possible, that can happen. When one generation has come from poverty or a little bit of nothing, the next generation wants to get out of it, so they work like a dog to make things happen. They get up, pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and then their children shit all over their stuff. I ain't talking about that. Put them jokers to work. Put them to work in the same work we doing, so that they have an appreciation for it. They can't appreciate it if they don't work for it. They don't work in it. They don't get their hands dirty. They'll have no appreciation for it. And everything you work for will go to shit. I've seen it happen before. They get right up and you may as well, yeah, I'm about to say something real graphic. I probably shouldn't say it. But the point is, we come together. But this meeting I'm talking about, 14 and up. I don't even care if you can be 14 years old. Kids, I saw something yesterday. I'm going to call her today. One of the sisters said that she gifted, I said, that's what I'm talking about. She gifted her high school graduate a business. I said, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. She gifted them a business so they can start doing something for themselves. That's what I'm talking about. She gifted her 18-year-old a business. I'm going to call her today. I want to hear more about that. Bring them jokers in on what you're doing, so they don't shit all over your stuff. Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry if I missed you. I see Miss Peggy and I see Miss Jacqueline. Good morning. Share the video, y'all. Share it with somebody. Miss Cecilia, thank you. Share the video. Share the video with somebody who like-minded, or who need to be like-minded, who need to know that a $400 pair of tennis shoes do not represent your self-worth. And if they do, you need a therapist. That's a whole nother, you need a therapist. If you got to drive a car that you cannot afford to feel worthy, you need a therapist. Share the video with somebody who may be interested in working with us. Share the video with somebody who needs to understand that materialism is a monster and we need to kill it. Y'all have a good day. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all to life. I really do. That's the only reason. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I love y'all. I love my people. I love my people. Me and you will never part, my key. Y'all have a good day.